Good morning to you all. I'm feeling a little bit better today after wasting my money on that completely useless watch. Anyhow, as I said, I was expecting a phone from, or rather a Russian phone. It's actually come from Wales, but it's a Russian one. The number which was on it was, I think, probably a bit of guesswork, because the same seller, who I'm not blaming in any way, I did try to get his other phone, but that didn't. I didn't win that. In a way, I'm glad, because I realise that I've got one of those upstairs. But as I say, they do try to put a bit of information, and this phone was under a number which it obviously isn't. And the other phone he had was a Starlight. It obviously looked up Starlight, took the number from ones regularly seen on eBay, and it was the American version. But not to worry, it was actually an Italian version. I had one. Then, yeah, they say, people, they do try to give as much information, and I've got no problems with the actual seller. I'm very pleased I got this phone, but I'd much rather have had that than something that was sort of with a load of things altered to it. This, as far as I know, has not. It's interesting to know where he got it from, because it's a little bit of well, I think an unusual one. I've only, looking through eBay, I've only found one other listing for a phone which, yeah, it is pretty sure it's this one. They call it Tan, which I think is just a standard name for the models. But they didn't give a model number, they just said Tan. The handset was slightly different. The dial was slightly different. Both had Cyrillic letters. That's these letters you can see in the middle. And I understand Cyrillic letters were added to Russian phones up to 1968. Well, this particular model was thought to be made between 40 and 69. That was the years when this model was obviously made and supplied. It is also, as we can see, hardwired, not a printed board in sight, which adds to the interest. Okay, fairly basic. I've had to put a few alterations. I've had to repair the case a bit, but after the age of this, which it could be, is quite acceptable. Here we've got the handset. This handset's slightly different to the one shown on eBay. Whether it was changed somewhere in its life, I don't know. The lead in looks fairly old. It's the curly cord. Don't know. As I say, when it comes to these things, we are all detectives, trying to find out. That is half the interest. You know, it'd be easy to just pick a phone up where you're told exactly what it is. Oh, that's not very interesting. But to get something you don't know is interesting. Now, this we're looking at is the little terminal block which was on the end of the lead, which after I've tested the phone I will put this back because it's all part of the telephone. What was interesting was a symbol. There we are. Telephone symbol, which also appears in this phone. I don't think it's a VEF phone. I'm pretty sure it's not a VEF, which was quite a large phone manufacturing concern in Riga, which supplied loads of phones, but this one is, as far as I know, was not. This is the information I want. If anyone knows the maker, I'll give as much clues as I can, then I'll be very grateful. Alright, it's hardwired, which means it's before they brought out printed circuits. Unfortunately, no circuit diagram, which is a pity. Let's turn the board at the base over. This base is, put it on the side, is identical to the picture in eBay. Exactly the same base. It's even got the same markings on there, which obviously over the years that's been standing perhaps on the cable, I don't know. It's the same markings as the one on eBay where it's been. The base is a painted metal, small little round feet. They're all exactly the same. Held on, got a screw hole there, a screw hole up there, and a screw hole down there. Unfortunately, two of those were broken, so it was only held on by the one screw. So I'm going to have to make a little bodge. It's acceptable, let's face it. You're not going to see it. Where I shall use a dab of sealant, probably put it there, so it goes across to the case. You won't see it once the phone's standing down. What else can you do? There's no way of repairing it. Anything else? I think that's right. Let's put that back so we can have another look. There's the cradle contacts. These contacts, I gave them all a good old dosing with a contact cleaner. It's always a good idea. The bell, okay, I put a touch of glue to lock the screws because the bell needed adjustment. Very basic bell, no adjusters on it. Obviously before they brought out adjusters. It is, in my opinion, a basic phone that does the job. No frills. Easy to repair, I would think, because it's being hardwired. You haven't got to worry about a printed circuit. All on nice flat spade type terminals. Two wires out to the connection, which is these two there, white and red. The red strapped across, that is probably strapped onto the ringer circuit. I'm just hoping it'll work without needing to put 3k resistor in. But if I do, I can presumably just have to put it between those two rather than cut one of the wires to the bell. But hopefully I won't have to do either. There's your induction coil, pretty standard stuff with all the values on there. It's got two capacitors. The bell gongs are always slightly different, so you get a better tone. Let's have a look at the dial. Here's the front of the dial, as I say, Cyrillic, and that was, I say, from up to 68. So you can think this phone is probably within that period. How much earlier than that, I don't know. But that is the dial. Here's the dial cover. And once again, you've got that telephone type symbol. Someone will know what this is. There's a name there as well. Whether that's the company. Unfortunately, I don't speak Russian. Looks like a date there, 63, but I don't know if that means anything. But that symbol you often see. And it is on the, I think the other phone which I'm ordered from abroad will have that same trademark. Anyway, let's have a look at the well, there's the case, which is the same case as shown on eBay. Here you've got where the numbers would have been. Unfortunately, that part has probably long since gone. Don't worry, it's not the end of the world. What's more important is the dial works. All thanks to it being covered by that. Okay, needs a little bit of oil. I use clock oil, I always have. I know it's dearer than the oil you can get from some places, probably exactly the same, but I've always used clock oil. Here's the case. Turn it around carefully because it's obviously connected to the dial. There's another symbol. Also, you can see where there was a bit of damage. Okay, you expect it after that age. As far as I'm concerned, it's in blooming good condition. You've got the typical mouse hole type inlets for the cables. Turn it over, have a look inside. Well, what do we have here? That symbol again. Various dates. Looks like a date there. Where it's not too sure. But the dial type, alright, it looks like it's Russian made, but that design goes back to Siemens in Germany, who I believe invented this type of dial. In my opinion, it's quite a good dial, used on numerous phones. I think my new phone from that I've ordered will also have that same type of dial. With the governor, two spring sets. You've got your off normals, which is, where's my pen? There's the off normals, and there's your pulsing. This was, I say, as dry as anything when I checked it over. Also, there was a cracking around that screw, so that's been filled in with a little bit of Araldite. Araldite's a marvellous way of doing things. Okay, you can use other stuff, but I use Araldite. And also, I've got to apply a little bit of Araldite elsewhere. On that little stud thing there, that's, I don't know, it'll probably be okay. You get this with age. They've got the regulator. So these, this Siemens design was a good one. I don't know if I can show you it working. It exactly gives the amount of pulses. I'm going to have a difficulty doing this. This is where you need another pair of hands. I haven't got a pair of hands. No, I'm sorry I can't show you that. But this spring there, after dialing, this drops in to like a detent and gives you the exact amount of pulses for whatever digit was dialed. It is, I say, in my opinion, quite a good dial and has been used on numerous makes of phones. But it's the German Siemens type, Siemens Husky. Anyhow, that is more or less all I've got to say. Yeah, I'm pleased I got this. Pleased it's in the condition it's in. Very good sender. Who was trying to be helpful, which he was. It made me look to find out what number it was. Okay, I haven't got the number. But out of all the phones, Russian phones, this appeared once on eBay, and it wasn't particularly cheap. So I think it's quite an old one. So any information I would love to have, particularly that symbol. But I think this is definitely not a VEF phone. So last look. I'm going to try it out, see if it works. But I've got to put a couple of little places where I can apply a little bit of Aerodite to make sure that things are safer to use, because the cords are a bit loose on the things there. So a little bit of Aerodite will probably help. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Very grateful. Yeah, very grateful to the sender. It was beautifully packed, as you would expect now. People are really learning how to pack, and they do a good job, and this was no exception. It arrived yesterday in the evening time, so I didn't really feel like stripping it down and taking pictures or doing a video, so I've done it one today. I know I haven't put, well, I may do, it depends. I may put a thumbnail up, it all depends how this goes. I probably will put a thumbnail up, it'll be perhaps tomorrow, so this video will probably not go out till tomorrow, which I believe is Saturday. Yep. Anyhow, thanks again for watching, and yeah, if there are any comments, please know. I would like to know more information about this little job. I'll also try it out, see if it works, and report back. But I shall put the thumbnail up later. Thanks again. Thank you.